seen her smile and laugh, seen her act happy or shocked by his teasing. But today, when she'd appeared ready to throttle him, he'd felt a shock of something he hadn't even recognized at first until he'd walked out of Dale's. Interest. Hannah's fury had stirred up something inside him. He liked Hannah, had always noticed she was pretty. He wasn't blind after all. But he'd never been tempted to cup her face in his hands and kiss her until she was smiling again. The image was why he'd booked it out of there so fast, not bothering to wait for her to come around and say bye. He was still shocked he'd left his number for her. He'd been joking about the recommendations, and then she'd been so eager, that spark in her eyes, that rush of excitement at possibly sharing something she was passionate about with him. He hadn't been able to resist. Blake pulled into the parking lot, and as soon as he turned off his car, he picked up his phone to see if it was her. "Where are you, Dick Munch? I got a bone to pick with you." Damn it. The text was from Bryce. He didn't even bother texting her back, just climbed out of the car and headed into the bar. The loud blast of classic rock vibrated the floor as he made his way through the crowd and down the stairs to where his friends usually hung. The first thing he saw when he reached the bottom was Best and Sparks playing pool, while Martinez and Slater hung by the table watching. And then Bryce was in his way, punching him in the gut, her blue eyes flashing in the dim bar lights. "Bastard! Bess said you were full of shit." It really hadn't hurt, just caught him by surprise. Standing back up with a laugh, he said, "You're really going to believe Best?" "Hell yeah, I am, and you're lucky I'm such a benevolent and forgiving person." "Sure I am." Patting her on the shoulder a couple of times, he added, "I'm sorry I said that about your ass." "Huh, you better be, especially since I was nice enough to invite someone to meet you." Blake's blood ran cold as he searched the bar for Bryce's special guest. He noticed a pretty Asian girl talking to Slater Vincent, one of the other trainers at Alpha Dog, and growled. "Bryce?" "What?" "Why do you keep ambushing me with all of your single friends?" Bryce frowned at him as if he was the annoying one. This was her second attempt at setting him up, and while the first woman had been perfectly lovely, he hadn't been able to stop thinking of Jenny, thus reaffirming his conviction that he wasn't ready. And yet, here they were again. "Come on, just say hi to her. I didn't tell her I was introducing her to anyone. I just invited her to come out with some of my coworkers. There's no pressure. Except that Slater and I are the only single dudes, so she's going to get some kind of idea about who she's here for." Blake ran his hands over his face with a sigh. "Why do you have to make me the bad guy?" She threw up her hands, as if she was surrendering to something unreasonable. "Fine, I won't introduce you." Before Blake could thank her, though, he glanced over and saw Jane walking toward them, a wide smile on her face. "Megs, I thought you ditched me." Bryce gave him a look that clearly said, "Whoops, too late." "Sorry, just saying hi to Blake." "Blake, this is Jane. Jane, Blake Kline." Jane held out her hand to him eagerly. "Hi, Megan's told me a lot about you." Blake didn't even want to know what the lot was. "I'm Blake. Good to meet you." He took her hand and gave it a firm shake before releasing it. "Why don't I get you two kids some drinks and leave you to chat?" Before Blake could protest, she'd shimmied up the stairs faster than the weasel she was and left him alone with Jane. "So, Megan tells me you work with search and rescue dogs. That must be cool. How did you get into that?" Asking questions about his interests. Yep, definitely a setup. "My dad trained hounds while I was growing up and taught me everything he knew." Wishing he had a drink in his hand at the moment,